Hi, welcome to my second video on basic chord changes. What I was doing there was just picking around four chords, a D, A, E minor, and G, and I'm going to show you the fingering on each of those chords and then some tricks on getting from one chord to the other. So even if you have played these chords before, you might check this out and just see if there's any ideas that you can use as far as getting from one chord to another. So let's get started. First chord I'm going to show is the D major chord, or just D. It sounds like this, and I put my index finger on the third string second fret, my middle finger on the first string second fret, and my ring finger on the second string third fret. And when I play it, I strum from the fourth string down. I want to avoid the fifth and sixth strings. So it sounds like that. The only thing that you really have to be careful with on this chord is this finger here, getting it down straight enough in so that you'll be able to miss these two strings. As long as you're pushing down hard enough here on the first and third strings, that should be good. You just want to make sure that your index finger isn't touching the fourth string. So if you get this, then you should be able to get that finger down as long as it comes straight enough down, and then you can get that sound. So that right there is the D major, or just D chord. The next chord that I'm going to show is a A major chord. And that one sounds like this. That chord I'm strumming from the fifth string down, and I want to avoid the top E string. And so on that chord, my index finger is on the third string second fret, my middle finger is on the fourth string second fret, and my ring finger is on the second string second fret. And there's a couple of fingerings that you'll see for this chord. The one that I'm showing you, I feel is the most efficient. You're able to get back and forth from certain chords that you play in combination with that A chord quite a bit, pretty well. And another fingering you might see is this one, which you probably see it in a lot of the books, but I don't really use that fingering. I would recommend doing this for reasons that I'll show you in a few minutes. So that's A major. The next chord that I'm going to show is an E minor chord, and that one sounds like this. And to get that chord, I put the index finger on the fifth string second fret and the middle finger on the fourth string second fret. And I strum all six strings on that chord. So it sounds like that. This is probably one of the easier chords to play. I'm using two fingers. I don't have to split any strings. So as long as you're coming straight enough in and watching out in this area back here, you don't want this part of your hand to be hitting the strings and getting that sound. So that's a common thing with some people. And you can correct that sometimes by just dropping your thumb down a little bit and getting a little more arch back in this area. So that is E minor. And the last chord that I'm going to show is a G chord. And that one will probably be the most difficult of these four chords that I'm showing you today, just because you've got to stretch out a little bit. So the G chord, I'm also playing all six strings. My index finger is on the fifth string second fret. My middle finger is on the sixth string third fret. And my ring finger is down here on the first string third fret. So on all of these chords, especially this one and the D chord, there tends to be a problem where people will pull way back here so that their fingers aren't close to the frets, and so you'll get this kind of nasty sounds. And so what you want to do is just make sure you're stretching and getting as close to the frets as possible. And it takes a little practice. Your fingers will stretch out if you just force them to, but it will take a little while before it really feels comfortable. So that's the G chord. So once you've practiced all of those chords and can play them pretty well, now I'm going to show you how you can go from one to another and actually put it into a progression. And this is the same progression that I opened up the video with. So starting on the D chord, what we want to do is leave the index finger down where it is and pick up the other two fingers and then just put them on the second and fourth strings. So I'm going from the D chord, pulling back a little bit so that I can give these two fingers enough room to get down, and then I pivot right in to the A chord. So these are the same fingerings that I had showed you earlier. I go from D to A. So a really good way to practice these is just to go back and forth between one chord and the other until you feel really comfortable with that finger change. And then from the A chord, I can leave the middle finger where it is and pivot into the E minor chord. So I'm going A, E minor, A, E minor. And then from the E minor, I go into the G chord and I just leave the index finger where it is and then go up to that G chord. So with every one of these chord changes, I have one finger that I can keep down, and that can help guide your finger into the next chord. So on the E minor chord, you have to have your index finger back a little ways, but as you go to the G, just slide it up and then go right into that G chord. And then as you go back to the E minor chord, just slide it back and go in there. You'll have to do that same thing from the D chord to the A chord as well. So going here, I have to pull that and just slide it back a little bit and then go in there. So that's that D, A, E minor, G. Okay, well hopefully I've given you a few ideas there that you can put to use in your own playing. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at this email right here. And I'll go out playing a couple times through of that chord progression. So it was D, A, E minor, and G. And I'm just going to do it real slow and easy, just the way that you should practice it if you're just learning these chords. Okay, here we go.